Okay, first let's take a look at our swing from the last session, and in this particular swing we just kind of went with the thought of staying more left to kind of stay centered and to give ourselves a little better chance to hit the ball from the inside. So to the point we were talking about where we want the uh, club head to trail the hands, and really even after impact to kind of hit this punch draw that we're looking for. We don't ever want the club head to speed past the hands. Certainly not those few feet post-impact. Eventually they may catch up to the hands, but for you, we want to feel really like the club head is lagging behind, and it's our body rotation that's carrying the whole arm club unit around, rather than just kind of using our hands and flashing the club through. So one thing that I noticed that I think is going to help us do that a lot has to do with the right knee. Specifically the right knee, but just in general, the idea of releasing the right side so that your body can more freely and naturally rotate. And we'll use a pro golfer that's on the right-hand side. That's Justin Rose over there, the 2013 U.S. Open champion. So setup-wise, we're still going to take a look at grip. We'll still take a look at the forward press that we have. You know, we talked about softening that grip a little bit in terms of turning the left hand targetward to where we can't see quite as many knuckles. We can probably see all 4 knuckles here. Probably just want to see 2.5 or so there, and then from there we can kind of soften this forward shaft lean. Still going to have some at address. I think that's better, but maybe just not as much. Go over here and take a look at Justin Rose. A little more difficult to see, but if he looks down, he can probably see 2.5 knuckles on his left wrist. So that's a solid grip to work with. And then the club shaft is leaning forward at address, but maybe not quite as much as ours. So again, those are some static address position things that we can work on. But specifically what we want to look at here is giving ourselves a chance to release the right side and allow the body to continue to rotate. Because if our body is kind of stalled and can't continue to rotate, then all the energy kind of flows through the arms and down into the club shaft, and the hands and wrists just really release more than we want them to at the wrong point in the swing, and we can't really stay ahead of it to where we can hit that draw that doesn't turn into that big hook. So let's look specifically at the right knee. Again, we'll take a look at the setup. Here we are on our left side, favoring our left side just a little bit. So good setup there. And then we'll draw the angled line here down from the right hip. We'll do the same over here for Justin Rose. Coming up from the foot there. He's not quite favoring the left side as much as we are, but he's certainly going to in the downswing, and he's going to release his right side so he can turn through the shot. We'll go ahead and take a circle. I'm going to use a green circle to put around your right knee. And you can see your right knee is kind of pointing right towards the camera. We'll use the same green circle and put around Justin Rose's right knee. And it's flexed and pointing right towards the camera. So all systems are go here. We'll go ahead and take both players to the top of the golf swing. Both players fairly passive arms and hands and using the body rotation to get the club to the top. And then from the top, we'll take a look at where the knees are. Justin's right knee kind of stays fairly stable there. Our right leg might have gotten a little too straight in this case, but it's okay that the right leg straightens. But what we want to look at, Forrest, is as we start down, we'll see a couple of things. If you look at Justin Rose, he starts down in this, if you look at about his belt line and look at that, his left hip pocket, the top of his left thigh just really starts to drive targetward. ours has some of that movement too. Not quite as aggressive as his, but we'll learn that. But then as he moves through the shot here, we'll see something that's different about him versus us. If we look at impact, and you're in a solid impact position here, as is he, but if we look at impact and we use a different color, we'll use red, and we'll draw a circle around your right knee, and we'll draw a circle around Justin Rose's right knee over here. And we can see a couple of things. In addition to driving the left side forward, Justin Rose has also allowed his right side, his right knee, to begin releasing and start driving towards his left leg here. And we can see that in our right foot, where your right foot is still flat on the ground. And we talked about that, and that's not always the end of the world unless it's holding us back from doing something else. Justin Rose's right foot is still fairly flat on the ground, but you can see that his foot is beginning to roll a little bit. The heel's not coming up necessarily, but the foot's kind of rolling. We talked about Tiger making that move. The foot's kind of rolling towards the target there. And then as we kind of continue through the shot, I'll take all the lines away. And this is where I think we'll really see the difference. We'll just use lines here, and we can still see the front of your thigh. We can see the kneecap of the right leg, and then we can really see the front of the shin of the right leg. And we can also see a tremendous amount of space between the knees there. Whereas in Justin Rose's case over here, and again, he's a professional golfer, won the US Open, the front of Justin's right thigh has kind of rotated and is pointing more towards the target. The right knee also, the right kneecap is kind of rotated and is pointing more towards the target here. And then the right shin, front of the right leg, is trying to turn also. So we kind of get that look with his. And then the real kicker is how much space is between his knees. If we draw that circle there, that's a much smaller circle than with yours. So if we continue, you know, Justin's able to just kind of let the body continue to release. And because we released the right leg so much later, even though we do a good job of holding that angle and kind of giving that punch feel, he's able to kind of continue to rotate and keep the hands down and let his chest kind of catch up. Whereas for you, you have a little bit of that unbalanced, out of control feeling as the club and arms just kind of flash past you. Not as bad as they were, but they just kind of go past you, and the lower body's not really able to support it as well. And if you notice, at the bottom here, take the lines away again, he got real aggressive into that left side, and you can see from a rotation standpoint, you can see his left rear end coming around out the backside of the swing there. You know, we don't quite complete the turn here. All right, I'm splitting hairs, but it all goes back to releasing the right side earlier in the swing, just kind of letting it flow freely. And then you see where, you know, Rose is going to have a little more balance and more of the body up over the right foot, whereas we kind of struggle to get over there. So I think that's going to be something that's going to help us accomplish what we're talking about, where if from a good setup position here, we go to the top. You know, staying with that idea of staying left. And then from the top, as we shift the hip leftward, kind of that magician's box thought, or the drill you saw where bumping the chair, or we talked about closing the file cabinet drawer with our hip there. While we do that, and to help us do that, let's go ahead and let this right knee, we don't have to make it, but if we just allow it to release and work towards the left knee, I think that'll let us two things. One, it'll let us shift the hips towards the target more than just turn them. And then when we get those hips shifted, it'll allow us to then turn through the shot and carry the hands and club with us, so that we can kind of really ingrain and solidify that feel of the club head always lagging behind our hands. So again, we eventually let the right foot come off the ground and release. And again, the right foot being on the ground isn't necessarily the negative here, but the thing that's holding us back is not really releasing that right leg and allowing the knee to travel towards the left knee, which in turn will allow the right hip to rotate properly. So work on that too, and we'll get together another time and we'll look at it.